that we have known Naman and Alekhya a little bit more, now I would like to know both of you together, how the journey of you being together started. And I'll ask individually first, and then you can share about your common stories and common interests. I would like to begin with Naman. So how did Alekhya entered in your life?
Wow. So on 16th October, right, 2016, when I was there with Devika at Devika's house. So there I met Alekhya, Amulya, you, Shubham, everyone, right? But I was just another guy, right? Because there were a lot of people there. So we interacted for the first time where I think Alekhya, she introduced me to pyramids, right? Because till then I was only knowing about meditation because in the morning I've done a session with her. So there, she's talking about pyramids, and I have this natural inclination towards geometry and maths. And the moment she started saying that, if you put a sack of rice on the floor, it takes a pyramidical shape. And she started taking patterns, and in my head, I'm just going, how will it work? How will it work, right? But then it was just a one-time thing in my head because first of all, I was very scared of search. So I thought, okay, once I'm out of here, I'm out of here, right? So I think for next 3 years, we did have each other number. So she was surprised because she had a number which was from US. So it started with +1 karke, this thing. So when she sent me a number, she sent both the numbers, and she didn't knew that she sent both the numbers. So and there was a group called the Universe, which where all of us got added, and there I found which one is who, which one is who. Alekhya's name came up. so there I because I already had a number, I knew that okay, I know this person. And for 3 years, I texted her like 2-3 times, all because for work.
Really work?
But yes, so that happened. So she invited me to Mahayog Dhyan Kumbh. I think in 2018 she invited me to Mahayog Dhyan Kumbh, where I was in Allahabad. I recently started working with Government of India. Then from there, I was thinking in my head, can I make it? Like, it's too far, from Allahabad you go to Delhi, from Delhi you go to Rishikesh. At that point, I was like, okay, I can't make it because Kumbh was coming, the Kumbh which comes after 12 years, right? Allahabad mein Kumbh was coming the other next year, in 2019. So all the preparations, I was there as a part of team.
Okay.
So I invited Alekhya to Kumbh. Then, she invited me to MYDK Mahayog Dhyan Kumbh. I said, why don't you and your team come to Kumbh also? Because I'm there organizing, in the organizing meet committee. So that happened. The real spark occurred when she uploaded a page from a book called Be Here Now by Ram Dass. It was, I think, page 69, where the title was You Are Your Own Guru.
Such attention to details. Very nice. Okay.
Yes. So the page said You Are Your Own Guru, and it had very amazing, a picture. It's just connecting to a light source, and there's this very fancy fonts, and I was like, it's from a a Disney World mein, the movie, like the book. So I got very excited, and I just out of nowhere I texted her, can you tell me the name of this book? And for the first time in 3 years, she replied within 10 minutes. Because earlier it was, you text and you forget, the 3 years, probably Alekhya will open. Now I can say that because I know, how busy this thing is. But back then I thought, maybe, I'm just one of the other guys, right? So you send and you forget, and then 3 days after, they'll get the reply. But for that, within 10 minutes, he texted, hey, you know what, it's Be Here Now by Ram Dass. And luckily that book was available on Amazon. I ordered it. Next day I received it. And I'm sending her a picture. Hey, you know what? I got this book. That's how the conversation actually started. Wow. So, yeah, I think after that, Alekhya is the right person because for me, though, I just finished the book, loved the book, wanted to know more about, what it is. but she is the one who got, she very clearly, I think I would like you to
Yeah.
take this bit.
Yeah, I also don't know why. I never upload WhatsApp. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm quite notoriously
Invisible on social media.
Yes, and it's funny because I actually didn't have that book that day when I uploaded it. Someone had taken the book from the house. A lot of people had come home, and that was a very prized possession. And it's so strange how I bought the book, because I had bought the book being very closely connected to Hanuman.
Oh, wow.
And I still remember when I was at a bookstore to pick out some non-fiction books, just literature, classic literature. I found this book just lying around, and I just picked it up, and hence it became a so-called prized possession. And the day it went from my house, I kind of felt like I was missing it. And somehow this picture that he's talking about, and I rarely do I get that time when I'm going through my phone for pictures, or probably I was deleting something and I saw this picture and I felt instinctively I had to upload it.
Wow.
So the backstory of this was 2016 was when Patriji sir told me, Alekhya, get married. We were talking about something, it was a very strange experience altogether, and suddenly he's looking at me, and it was just me and him in the room, and he's looking at me and he's saying, Alekhya, get married. And I was just like, I've just begun my life. I'm fully here for seva. I don't see the point of a marriage. And he's looking at me saying, you have to get married.
In 2016?
2016.
Wow.
Now, even though sir said this, it's again, the thing is, when it's supposed to happen for you, your own understanding is really important, because a guru can only show you the way. You have to walk the path yourself. It took me almost 2 years to completely accept, because I was always of the preconceived notion that marriage is a societal institution that has been incorporated to serve certain purposes, to live in certain moral value system and boundaries. But as such, the whole concept of companionship need not be legalized, or something of that sort. And yeah, it took me 2 years, and I think this is, now that I think about it, PMC also happened like that. Sir told me in 2018 only, you should. And I thought, no, he's kidding. What is sir? No, what is media and all of that? But same way, so 2018, I was really okay. You know what? I finally understood why sir said what he said. What was the importance of this, the sacredness of what a marriage is meant to be. And if you take away all the frills of what society expects, to what is the need for, because as such there's no need for marriage. Marriage again is a word, like people love or mother or father, the roles that you define to it. But what is the essence of two people coming together? And sir gives in his 5-finger concept why ring finger is the mind. So it's two minds coming together. And for two minds to come together, it really means you're aligned in all aspects. And that I understood at a much deeper level. So 2018, I was just like, okay, you know what? I think I'm ready now to get married. So I went and told my parents, I'm ready to get married. My parents looked at me, firstly, they were shocked. The roof was blown over their head because I don't fit the typical, the rule book of Adarsh Nari.
Yes.
Because
What's
of
that anyway?
the rebellious, I was stereotyped as the rebellious sort. So again, I went and told my parents were just like, you got to find your own guy, who is going to help. We don't know what you like, what this is, because they still didn't comprehend my understanding of marriage. My parents said no. And my cousin at that time had been trying to get married for 2 years. So he had put up his profile on matrimonial sites and all. And I was like, that though I'm not doing, because that is one other capitalist agenda to make money from media. So I'm not going down that route. So now how to find a guy? I'm ready to get married, but now how to find a guy? And at that time, my younger sister was living away, and I would work late in the night. So I would just come home probably at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. I'd had my own practice. So even though I was living with my family, we have that freedom. It's a lot of openness. So I would come and go and do as I please. And so I somehow made it a point to kind of connect back. I have a deep connect back to myself again, because there's nothing that in the world that you can find outside. It's again, whatever you need is served to you when it's needed for you. Whatever is meant to happen through you. And I had already started to live my life like that. Because we were teaching meditation, I was flowing with my purpose. So I remember one night I'd sat in meditation, and this probably around 12 o'clock in the night, and I'd read Conversations with Mahavdar Babaji, and I'm very closely connected to the Pleiadians. And I sat in meditation, and suddenly I sensed a presence of so many masters around me. From very far I could see, and I opened my eyes thinking, okay, what is happening? And I saw from far that I saw lights, and so I saw the Pleiadians around me. They were talking to me, conversing with me, and suddenly I had Babaji was there in front of me, and he's like, what do you want? Like literally everyone was around me, because I said I was ready to get married, but they asked me, what do I want? And so a lot of times Patriji sir gives the example that if Shivji comes in front of you, what will you ask him? So at that point in time, the only strongest desire I felt is whatever is meant for the highest good of all to happen through this. And when I said that, I suddenly felt so calm. That unrest, because you know something should happen, but you don't know how it's going to happen, but it has to happen a certain way. Suddenly that anxiety, that so-called, I wouldn't even say pressure, it's just thoughts, unnecessary thoughts that were being bombarded from all sides, created by my mind, and picking up on other people's energies of those thoughts. Calm. And so when then I got the message, I say from inner, but I'm sure that all the masters around me on that thought, surrender. So I said, okay, cool. And at that point, because I was in this blank zero state, it was just surrender. And so I surrendered, and I didn't think, the next day onwards there was nothing. And I think 2 days after that is when I actually uploaded that photograph. And then fast forward to whatever happened. So
that's how the preparation happened for him to enter in your life. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you can add 2 and 2 together, and you can analyze all you want, but that's how things kind of progress.
I mean, looking back at 2016, I met Patriji sir. Patriji sir asked her to get married. 3 years it took me to
connect the dots.
Connect the dots, be eligible to get married. Yeah, then Pleiadians coming and playing their part. I think so. Yeah, it's a team effort.
Definitely it is, and it's a beautiful effort in the manifestation. I want to understand that now we have known how you two met. How did you take it further? So,
see, like I said, I always knew what I wanted, and that incident happened, that experience came. So when he sent the image of the book, it kind of made sense. I didn't know how, I didn't know what, but it was just a strong feeling, and I didn't want to loiter around. So he made a statement where he said, I'm coming from Allahabad, and that time Gully Boy had released, and I was really excited, and I hardly message people. So this last dialed me, whatever last messages me, there was this fellow. So I messaged him, and he said, yeah, sure, when I come from Allahabad, we'll definitely go. And I was like, oh, wait, I hope he's not getting the wrong impression that I'm somehow interested. But there was also this thing where I found it so strange that this book, him connecting to it, and he had a fairly spiritual background, because in my head he had come for that meditation class long time ago. And very dedicated, nice guy, nice, helpful
Plus,
nature.
she asked me, do you eat non-vegetarian? I said no. Egg? No.
See, those are some straightforward things that you ask, even like now there's no beating about the bush. So at that point in time, actually, when he said, when I come to Delhi, we'll meet next, I thought maybe he's getting the wrong impression of, I want something casual. So I made it very clear, and I said, I'm looking for marriage this year. I am very clear, because every minute is very precious. Master does not waste their time. Why waste any time? So I am looking to get married this year, and I expected that there would be some gap, or some space between a conversation. But he also immediately he laughed, and then he said, me too. And
I want to know this experience. How that strong, how did it came to you? Because it's so
to be
awkward.
to be honest, Nandini, I was actually thinking. So my thought process, I work like an algorithm sometimes. Okay, so I was like, okay, Alekhya asked me to like she pitched that this movie, but like
She pitched.
No, she said in a way where she said, the script is nice, it's been directed, like direction is nice, story is nice, ऐसा करके. She made it very enticing, right? So I thought, okay, chal, theek hai, when I'm going to Delhi, I'll meet her, right? And out of a sudden, then she started asking questions around food, around this thing, and there was obviously a symmetry there. Suddenly, out of the blue, she said, "This year, by end of this year, I'm looking to get married." I laughed because out of the blue it happened, right? Okay. Yeah, I was not expecting, right? You expect, when are you coming, when can we, those type of follow-up questions. I mean, after the plan that you've made, the follow-up questions come. But she said, this is what I'm looking to get done. And in my head, I always knew that, this marriage thing will come from this front. Like, I'll not be the one who will initiate, because I'm very this thing in myself. But सामने से she's saying this is where, and I thought that maybe, and that image, image that I had in mind, that सामने से it will come, it suddenly flashed back, ran back to me, and I was like, okay. And I didn't reply by saying me too, right? I actually took the photograph of so every year, 31st December, I make a list of goals I want to achieve. Regardless I achieve them or not, I write it on a piece of paper. Some of them I achieved. The first point was get married. Then I showed her the picture. This is one of my goals. And that's how we both shared this laugh, and yeah, so that's how I think, that's how
there was no proposal.
Yeah.
It was just...
Yeah, no, there is no proposal, but some
alignment
message came. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like all the stars are.
Yeah. We didn't actually thought of there was no movie like this thing. She
This
shared
is
her thought process.
movie. I completely.
PMC take note. To be honest, it was not something that I was looking forward to, right? But, and it was not very this thing also, she shared her point of view, this is what she wants to achieve. And I saw it as a goal. So.
Wow.
Interestingly, how beautifully you guys are connecting. It's an interesting story. Now, having said that, I know for I was there when you guys decided on for forever, and you did a pyramid marriage. So I want you to share more about that experience in that particular day, because it was a blissful moment, I'm sure. So how was it for you guys, and how did you prepare yourself for that moment, and how did that happen?
Actually, before that, I think we got married many times, to be very honest. First time was when we agreed, and we had not met yet. So fast forward, we met, and I was just like, okay, again, the mind started to come in. The very next week after we met, Patriji sir was in town. And both of them coming together, and him, the first moment when they both met, actually during the day in the morning, the day he was supposed to meet sir, I told sir, I found a guy. He looked at me and he said, at last, thank God. And I thought it was strange, because I thought, he's not even seen the guy. But, and then later in the day, or rather in the night, he met sir for the first time, and he went straight for sir's feet. And again, it kind of just made sense. So what sir did was, he congratulated him, he congratulated me, and my parents, who had not even met Naman till then, congratulated each other. And I was like, what are you saying congratulations for? He said, congratulations for fill in the blanks. So I was like, okay, fine, cool. That was one time. So for me, that was all, because what more for me, him meeting sir was what meant a lot.
And technically, that was the second time I was meeting sir. The first time when I met him, he yelled at me. And out of the blue, Alekhya said, sir is coming, why don't you meet him? And in my head, I was like, the same guy. Yeah. Because
what turn now my life is going to take?
Exactly. And I was nervous, because now I know people. Now I'm not going as some guy who's going to meditate, with a bunch of people. Now I'm going as a guy. Just the family is introducing me to sir, right? So at least they'll know that this guy was the same guy. And in my head, I got so pressure got built up that so I went to the auditorium, Andhra auditorium, where Sir was supposed to come, and I met DLN Shastri, her father, for the first time. And usually what happens when you're meeting somebody, that traditional family, you touch feet, take ashirwad, and say niceties happen, and then they ask you what you do, where you are, from where you are, all that stuff. He didn't ask me anything, DLNG, right? And the best part was he took my hand and he rushed towards Sir, not even giving me time to calibrate, collect my thoughts. And everyone, he had this personality where everyone is getting a sight. And I thought, oh, there are a lot of people around. Sir, thoda time lagega, let me just collect my head. In 2 seconds, he just ran towards Sir, and everybody got everybody got aside, and I was like, dude, what are you guys doing? And he's like, this is the boy. And it is like, Sir is looking at me. And then I sat, around next to Sir, and he's looking at me again. And I was like, inside my head, I was like, please don't yell, And then he smiled and he said, congratulations. And I was like,
you've done a great job.
Yeah, now the Pappu has passed. So, yeah, that's how we met.
So to bring it to the pyramid marriage, this was the first incident. Second time he met my parents. I felt that time again we got married because my mom asked him, do you know what marriage is? Because she was sure I didn't know what marriage was.
So she asked him,
she asked him, that's it, no, we'll get married and we'll live together. So my mom was just like, you are also the same category. So for me, the second so-called marriage was when he met my parents, and till then I didn't even know what he was doing, his job, nothing. That was the first time he met my parents. So I was just like, okay, marriage means father, mother, my well-wishers should know what this gentleman is doing. You ask your questions, I don't have anything. So that was the second time. So we kind of got prepped up, and then of course my thing was always you have to come to the center, be as close as possible to see our environment, because you need to know the lifestyle that we lead. So he would come whenever he was in town. And then there was another moment where my mother-in-law and my father-in-law had come home to kind of discuss what was going to happen, because they also found it so strange, everything happening. And that was like another moment, because we saw, the idea of marriage really is for minds to come together. And so even meditation is in a way a form of marriage that we do of the mind and the soul, for the mind to start getting aligned to the infinity of all that is. And so marriage actually happened multiple times where he kept getting more and more involved, and we got more and more aligned, because the lifestyle that we lead is something that now I understand is not so-called conventional, because we talk, breathe and live prachar. How do you spread meditation?
Open-mindedness, just
Right.
in the moment.
And so when again, it was not meant to be a pyramid marriage, because the Swaminarayan Ashram Gurujis wanted me and Naman to do a Havan Kund gathering, and then my father said, it's all the same, everyone is here, and everyone is rooting for the best to happen.
Yeah.
And even till that day in the morning, there were so many duties, so many roles to fulfill. And then suddenly everyone said, okay, now you all are going to get married. So that happened. And then I guess in my head, the reason why all of that made sense was because when I decided that, I'm choosing this person, because marriage is a choice. I am choosing to share my life with this person. I think that day only we got married. Yeah. So the day Patri sir kind of said okay to us, for me, isn't that the same with you?
Same with me.
So basically what pyramid marriage is, we like-minded people get together, and they just celebrate your union of two minds, and two people coming together and deciding on we are gonna lead together. So how was it for you seeing so many meditators, so many like-minded people just dancing and just, you don't know them, they're not your blood family, or, they're just dancing, they're so happy for you.
Just gratitude, actually, to be very honest, because even though we didn't know them, not all of them at least,
So isn't this conscious family?
it is actually, because the what PSSM has brought to us is beyond the physical reality. It's everyone who's aligned to the purpose of bringing heaven on earth on in this point in time. So when everyone came together, and through the morning we were all doing seva, next day seeing me on stage, and suddenly he's like, तुम्हारी शादी हो रही है, you're going to get married. And I was like, yeah, let's play this role also. Come, let's all enjoy each other's company. And to be very honest, I don't think we ever got the time to really reflect on that moment, because it all happened so fast. Now that I think about it, it's very few people are so fortunate to have the company of so many well-wishers. They say that in the Puranas, all the gods come together and they shower their blessings, and there's flowers and there's just celebration. By the Ganga's Ghat, with the company of all our soul family, really, we feel blessed that so grateful that we had the opportunity and the beautiful experience to be able to share with so many people.
The moment, the memory of. I would like to know from you both that what do you understand by conscious family or new age family, for say so? Like, because I know for like Alekhya has been, you come from a family who meditate together. So how is it for you? What understanding do you get from that experience of yours?
My parents have been perfect examples of perfect companions. My mother still says, and my father has always been, friends. We all live together in our house as friends. And that is our example of a conscious family, actually. We acknowledge that we have our emotional ups and downs. We acknowledge that, okay, that person needs space, give them space. He's irritated or she's irritated, so just give them space, they'll figure it out. Or it's, motivating or supporting, to really letting them go deeper to understand why they're feeling what they're feeling. Or whether it be like me, my father, my sister, my mum used to sit together and have not planned way, but we've done our own past life regressions, we've done our own inner child healings together. And not something like we planned for a workshop, because you already had all the knowledge. It kind of just
Correct. It's a conscious way of living.
It just happened. Yeah. And so that was the kind of upbringing that I had, the support system that I continue to have, where we have the openness to really be and unleash our potential. And I think with Naman being part of this family and me being part of his family, it's just we've extended that circle. All of the qualities, that wonderful qualities that my dad had of always keeping other people happy, not interfering, not holding on to things, no comparison, complete acceptance, all of these qualities he naturally had. So when he came to the family, he was just like butter to the bread. And
that's so true.
So my life before and after marriage has been blissful, because I found a companion who I can share things with, who I'm looking forward to evolve with, because he brings out certain aspects. So he's my mirror. And in a conscious family, actually, what I think the difference is that we tend to point fingers. So earlier, and it's very natural when the initial days when we got married, because there's always an idea of, because again, being a meditative, like this is how you should live a life. So yeah, life before and after marriage has been equally blissful, because I found a partner who I can evolve with and share and grow with. And so I guess maybe the conscious family term literally means to become aware of
Of your own self.
of your own self, and that makes you more conscious. So right after marriage, I would say that I fit the typical nagging wife wanting to change the husband, where I said, no, eat like this, talk like this. And Naman is a perfect mirror. He'll absorb and he'll reflect exactly what you are. And for me, and he mirrored so many things on the inside, which I realized, oh, I thought I don't interfere, and I realized, oh God, I interfere so much. And just small things which he's made, which I'm so grateful for, that he makes me aware of. And I guess maybe he's the better example of if I really add value to his life, because he does to mine. And I guess the example of a conscious family for us is we embrace our dark side and bring that into light and work towards our own spiritual growth to fulfill our purpose.
Wow, very beautifully summated. It's a very great message, that being conscious partner or family means embracing your own darkness as well as the person who is there with you, and then bringing all that darkness into the light and growing. So very beautiful message. Thank you, Alekhya. And yes, Naman.
So for me, it was a change, right? It was a change which so initially when I met Shastriji, Alekhya's father, her mother, and so hua kya tha, so my office was in the same lane as her house. So it's called R.K. Khanna Tennis Stadium. They have a office space inside the stadium. So there I was working with Tata Trust, and Tata Trust had their office there. And one day I was feeling very hungry, right? And me and Alekhya started talking about food, importance of, where you eat, what you eat, from whom, through you, who cooks your meal, like how does that impact your food? And then I said, okay, so can you ask your mother to prepare the meal for me? And it was just like, I think, couple of weeks that we had met, and she said, yeah, let me ask her, and why don't you go and eat? So I went and had the food where I spoke to her for the first time. And the first thing that she said was, Naman, I don't trust you.
This is my mom.
And so she said, I don't trust you for some reason. You're not a bad guy. You're not, you don't seem like this thing, but somehow the trust is not coming from inside. Like, I see you and I see that something is not fitting in perfectly. Right? And I was Alekhya asked me if she wants to get married. I was like, wow, from where?
Dynamic family.
Yeah. And in my head, I was thinking, whoa, what happened, right? And this went on, and she vented. She cleared, or she spoke very openly. And since childhood, I had this habit of accepting, as I go. And I took her experience as an experience. I didn't get offended or started thinking, oh, kya ho raha hai, what kind of family am I getting associated with. None of those thoughts came. I took that experience as an experience, and I said, okay, going forward, let's figure out what happens. If in case this thing happens, just let me know, right? But she said, no, it's just my thing. It's not your thing. I have to work on myself. And then we, started gelling as two people, as friends. We started becoming friends. So I think that was the first interaction I had with her mother. And her father was the first meeting, we became bros out of nowhere. Yeah. Shastriji came and he started talking about startups, businesses, his own experience as, leading as a top CX, so working with Vedanta, all his experiences. And I started relating, I started sharing my experiences, started talking about ideas, because we were literally the same person in a different age group. And different bodies, right? Because everything he said, I was able to relate. In everything I was saying, he was able to relate and guide me. You know, oh, when I was your age, this thing happened with me. This is what I did to get out of it. So that kind of became, and plus our personalities are also, you know, we were.
I mean, he called him Shastri, and
Yeah.
Dad, he used to call Dad Shastri, and
Yeah.
Dad used to call Naman
Bro.
Naman Babu.
Naman
or
Babu
bro.
or bro. That was his thing. Like, so yeah, so because I became so close to him, like I didn't feel like he didn't seem like a father-in-law to me. We I would say evolved to a state where I started calling him, "Hey, Shastri, you know, can you do this for me?" And he's like, "Bro, just give me 2 minutes and come." So that's how I started talking, and yeah, so that's how I started becoming. You know, I didn't feel that I'm getting into something different, right? Uh, this thing with the one another change that I saw in myself was the food, where my staple diet used to contain rotis, you know, something. And since childhood, I never had this urge of I want this, I want that, you know, whatever comes in, I'll eat, no matter, you know, what. Apart from some bathua or something, but all of this change taught me that, you know, I'm just getting connected to my extension. You know, these people became my extension, and that's how I started. Because then Patri sir started. I got very close to Patri sir. Started working, spreading. You know, the ideals changed. So I got introduced as, like, I didn't see these people as these people who are coming into my life. I saw them as an extension of Naman, where Naman is, if a Naman is unable to express themselves, I had somebody who is teaching me expression. If Naman doesn't know about food, I had somebody who was teaching me about food. If I need to know about jobs or career or business, I was somebody who was talking to me about all that stuff. So yeah, so it was more of a jigsaw puzzle coming together and, you know, fitting in the right places. Yeah.
Very well explained. Like we all are an extension of each other. So